Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to the Movie Vault. My name is Benjamin Stanhope. And today,
Zachary Leewald.
Zachary, could you just wait a second?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Today I would like to invite you for a delightful evening of rhetoric, intellectual ascension, and conversation. Now I would like to introduce my co-host, Zachary Leewald. Zachary?
Yeah, I'm excited for this rhetoric.
Yeah. I was just saying words. Yeah, what we're really here to do is talk about the sickest movie of all time, the coolest movie of all time. And that would be, of course, National Treasure.
It was awesome. I mean, honestly, after watching the Oscars, this is the movie that came to mind.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this movie didn't win an Oscar is probably the biggest snub in Oscar history. I mean, I don't even think it got nominated. That's how egregious this is.
Sean Bean.
Yeah. What besides Lord of the Rings, which we recently covered.
Thrones.
Oh, he was in Game of Thrones. He just has that.
He is beheaded in both of those, isn't he?
Well, he's not beheaded in Lord of the Rings, but he does die. He gets shot like by arrows.
Oh, he's beheaded in another show. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because I remember someone making that noticing that. He dies in most things that he's in. Does he die in this?
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
See? Yeah.
He does die.
He always dies.
At the end, with the big room that they find, and so spoiler. First of all, they do find the treasure. All right, we got that out of the way. They really, really want to make you think that there is no treasure and that the whole thing was a waste, but there is. And then also,
I'm just thinking, like, if there was no treasure, then to me that movie is, I don't know, because this does happen where movies will promise something like that, and it'll just be like, oh, it's in your heart or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, this is a dumb movie ending. Like, let's see the treasure, all right?
Yeah, I want like a physical gold or something like that. I don't want. Yeah. It was within you all along. The Disney.
The real treasure is the friends we made along the way,
oh
right,
gosh.
Zach?
I hate stuff like that. No, I really like genuine. I detest it. I don't understand it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't figured out myself the treasure within myself. But people love this movie. 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, 75% on Just Watch.
I'm guessing if I don't know for sure, but I would think that the audience score for this movie would be higher than the critic score.
Because it's Nick Cage?
Or no, just because of the style of movie it is. Like, this is not a critic's movie, you know?
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like, this is just some good solid fun. It's not like I'm trying to make. Yeah, see, the audience score is 76%.
76.
Yeah. Like, people just want to have. Yeah, it says the critic consensus is National Treasure is no treasure, but it's a fun ride for those who can forgive its highly improbable plot. Which, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. If people are like, well, the plot's not realistic. Well, yeah, of course it's not realistic. We're watching a movie here. Like, there's not too many movies that have realistic plots. I mean, the one movie that we watched at the start of the year, the Jim Jarmusch one, where they go on vacation to Florida, that one maybe has a realistic plot.
What is that?
You know, it was it wasn't Down by Law.
I watched it with you?
You watched it. It was black and white. It was about bums.
Oh, Stranger Than Paradise.
Stranger Than Paradise. See, that's a realistic movie.
Sure.
It's also kind of boring.
Sure.
Which is why people don't typically make movies that are like normal.
It was really good, though.
It was kind of, it was really good. It was kind of weird still. Like, I mean, I guess it's not normal in the sense, but you could believe that it would be normal if you lived like the lifestyle that the people in the movie lived. But this is definitely not normal. I mean, there's not teams of competing treasure hunters in the world that I know of. Like, that would probably not happen. And nobody would be able to steal.
Do you think there's a conspiracy like this, something like that's real?
I mean, the Knights Templar is something that's like a real, like pretty old conspiracy theory. Like people say JFK started the conspiracy theories, but like the Knights Templar might have, because they trace it back really far. Like, it might even go.
People say JFK started conspiracy theories.
Well, maybe that's like the modern age.
Oh.
Like, a lot of conspiracy theories stem from what happened with JFK. Like, they have links back. So, like,
what's your stance on JFK?
Like, I really haven't reasoned it enough. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole.
What's your stance on all this?
Now, some people say it was a coup, right? So that's kind of an interesting idea. Some of the things just seem like they're too hard to like stay hidden. You know, like how would you be able to hide this coup for so long without anybody blowing the whistle? But maybe people have blown the whistle and people just don't believe them. I don't know.
Do you think it's like Alex Jones on Tim Dillon talking about how the people who incited the riot were not the Proud Boys, but rather this other guy that nobody's ever heard of who said that, yes, I testify to the court and swear on the Bible that I started this riot? Do you think it's like that kind of conspiracy theory, or it's unfounded?
I think it's somewhere in the middle of those.
You think
two.
JFK, there's serious stuff to it?
I think, well, there's something going on there.
What's your stance on the Abe Lincoln assassination?
My stance on the JFK assassination is this. Somebody doesn't assassinate a high-profile picture and then get randomly murdered by somebody else without there being something
Epstein.
to cover up. Jeffrey Epstein. So, and that's what happened. I mean, here, Lee Harvey Oswald, he could have been a lone wolf, but then, like, why would somebody have killed him unless there's, like, a second lone wolf? But it just gets, it's at least very suspicious. The Abraham Lincoln one, I've read a book about that. I won't even say what book it is because I don't even really know whether it was, like, that accurate of a book. But I do think, like, John Wilkes Booth was just kind of, like, crazy. And that's typically what most of the people who assassinated presidents have been.
Was JFK Lee Harvey Oswald, or was that someone else?
No, it was Lee Harvey Oswald, I believe. No, you have to remember Ronald Reagan. He got there was an attempted assassination on him.
Yeah.
And his somehow links back to somebody who had an obsession with Jodie Foster.
Okay.
Who's the actress from Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
And I can't remember whether he was trying to impress her or what was going on there. It was really weird.
What do you think the government's hiding?
I have no idea.
What do you think is their the biggest secret that they have? It's got to be big.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Do you think there are dragons hidden in
I don't know.
layers?
I would think that most of the big secrets would be like the Area 51 stuff. Like you always hear about, like, oh, we discovered something, but it's like hidden in like a secret cave in Nevada somewhere.
You think it's Area 51?
I don't know. If it were something hidden, like you said, like if they have dragons, like the dragons would be in Area 51.
I think it's advertisement. I think they have subliminal messaging, and they're trying to lead us into a certain mindset.
But see, I don't know that that's all the government.
I think it's all the government in big tech, big pharma.
No. Okay. So what happens is, so you have like your lobbyists, right? Those are corporations.
Yes. So
they're the ones who like support the politicians. The politicians are the one who makes decisions. So the money comes from the big corporations, and then we're over here. We vote for the politicians, but then we also support the companies by buying their products, right? So it's kind of like a triangular thing. My current theory is that the U.S. is more of an oligarchy than it is a democracy, because like the big corporations have a lot of power because they hold a lot of sway over the people in office, the decisions that they can make, because the money that they have to try to convince people to vote them in comes from the companies. And then we just support the companies because we need to live.
I like it like that, though.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, they try to make antitrust laws and stuff, but I don't know whether any of it actually works, because like they still need this to survive.
Especially since they're the ones making the antitrust laws too.
Right. So then they get to, I mean, you could say like something like the Postal Service is a monopoly, but since it's the government, you're allowed to have it.
Or just give a scapegoat like Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Just like, this is the bad company. Let's put all the laws on that. So we're fine. Like Google or Microsoft.
Exactly. Yeah. You can decide who to single out. You can decide who to like make big laws. And now, like, the thing is, the news happens so fast, it's like hard to even keep up with it, because like we've had these like banks start to go out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I don't even really understand exactly what's going on there. I just know it's like big, whatever it is. Something to do with like a bank that was like primarily for startups, and then it defaulted, and then some other banks were defaulting as a reaction. Some congressperson I watched tried to explain what was going on. And then we got the debt ceiling. Like we either have to raise the debt ceiling or we're going to default on our debts, and that'll put us in a recession. But like the debt ceiling is a weird concept, because if you just keep raising the debt ceiling, like what is it actually like?
Well, the debt ceiling influences the three different interest rates that the Fed has the control over.
Right, which is what would dip everything into a recession, right?
No, I don't think it would. None of the, and I'm just saying.
Well, if
this,
they actually defaulted on the debts, I think they'll raise the debt ceiling before they default on the debts.
I don't think we're going into a recession. That's my view. I'm sorry. I just don't think we're even close. I think we're fine. None of the Ohio State economy professors think so either. So
Yeah.
there's at least some.
Which means we'll
backup.
probably go into a recession.
Probably they're all wrong.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know that we have a big bubble. I mean, the last recession we went into was because of a bubble. So I don't know that exists. Have you ever watched The Big Short?
No,
That's a fascinating movie. It's about the housing bubble.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Actually, my economy professor said watch The Big Short. And there's a song by Passion Pit.
Really?
That's about the 2008 crisis.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
Tim Dillon sold mortgages, sold bad fraudulent mortgages.
Did he?
Yeah, that
I
was his whole subprime mortgages before the housing crisis.
I didn't know that. That was
He
like his real
but
job.
he also bought into it.
Okay.
So he bought a
Fooled
house.
himself.
That's how he ended up.
So he didn't know he was doing it.
No, not well. Yeah, he kind of bought into it. At this point, he was addicted to drugs too. So that's the thing. The people, drug addicts, were just working for these shady companies, like selling people mortgages who couldn't afford them. It's crazy, and people just thought it was going to work, and that nothing bad was going to happen except for one guy, or a couple of people. I don't know.
So if the government incited the Capitol riot, then is that to cut? What do you think that's trying to cover up, or do you think it's trying to point a bad light on a certain group of people?
I think if that happened, it would have to be they were trying to plant a bad light on a certain group of people. I don't know. I feel like we're getting into murky territory, but my view of the riot is that it was like a combination of like I don't know whether we'll ever be able to, like, I don't want to say that there were people who were inciting the riot who had some, like,
But isn't that what these courts are?
I mean,
saying?
it's kind of what it's uncovering. So it's leaning in that direction that there are people like who are in the middle of it, like who are informants, right?
But aren't there people like saying that I incited the Capitol riot now?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't listened to these people. So that's why I'm trying to be careful exactly what I say, because I don't want to like say something that I don't know whether it's true or not.
It's
I can
not
see how
you,
it would
it's
happen. I think there were people who were like part of this group who like got swept up in everything and are like genuinely did things that were wrong and maybe should have like not put themselves in the position that they did.
Or like not went inside our Capitol building?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I'm just
I mean,
asking.
even if there's people like leading you around, like, that is the one video of like the guy being like walked around by the police. I mean, you could say like, yeah, they broke in, so they were trying to like keep everyone safe, I guess, by like getting this guy's demand. I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to deal with any of these things, because like it could have gone the other way, and they could have like shot the people that were trying to like go into the Capitol building.
Didn't they have like the right to?
I mean,
Or I don't know.
theoretically,
Because they do if they go in the White House.
Yeah, I would think that they would have the right to.
I remember I went to the White House in middle school, and there was this really annoying girl in my class, and I won't say her name, but her mother was there. This is gonna really single it out. And she climbed on the fence to like see, let's go look at the White House. She climbed on the fence, and the sniper guy was like, "Get off the fence!" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And she thought she's like gonna get shot. I mean, that's the whole story, but
That's
it
crazy.
traumatized me thinking like, wow.
They would actually shoot like a little kid.
No, it was her mom.
It was her mom?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the worst part is like she thought it was fine.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even understand that. Wow.
How
yeah.
did your mom die? She was sniped by the White House.
That would be a cool story.
That would be cool, actually. Yeah.
Oh my.
No, I'm
goodness.
just curious because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's got to be like out of all the conspiracies, there's got to be one that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, maybe it's just people are searching too much. I think the more that you combine together, the less likely you are to find the one that's actually true, though, because you're like your odds of like having everything correct are just like so low. I think it's sort of an odd thing, but there's got to be some. I mean, there's probably some sort of thing that's like a conspiracy. It's just it would maybe not be in the way that you would think, or like seems to be the way. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
But that's
like there's just some truth. There's lies out there that we don't know are lies, and there's truths out there that we don't know about. But like, because of the lies, it's like how do you get to the truth? Like, as an individual person, it seems like it'd be pretty difficult.
True. Like, I even think about like me as a registered voter. Like, how am I supposed to make informed decisions if I don't really know everything? You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what this one person, guy or girl, is gonna do in the future.
No.
You know, she could be saying these things.
And the
not
whole thing
mean
is
it.
set up like pretty much everyone has to. I don't know that there is a politician who's like actually genuine, because they can't, like, they are forced to promise things that they can never actually keep the promises on, because they don't actually have the power to do the things that they say they're going to do as their individual position, because it's like a group effort. But I guess maybe they have the power in terms of like, if you vote them in, there'll be more of their group of people in to like eventually make decisions.
Did you think that we would legit have a wall between us and Mexico? Did you? I'm just curious if you thought that would happen. I thought it would happen.
I don't know that was like my biggest like concern. I was like, oh, that might happen. I don't know.
No, I'm just curious if you thought it would like legit happen.
I don't think I thought it would happen. I thought it was going to be like
I thought he would start it, and then either if he won, could finish it, and if he lost, then they would like tear it down.
But they didn't really do
goes
anything on
Republican,
it.
Democrat.
Yeah, pretty much it has switched back and forth. I don't know what this upcoming election will be like. It really depends on who the person running as the Republican is, because they could potentially have some pretty weak candidates.
Do you think that it'll be as charged?
I think the primaries are going to be insane.
Really?
Yeah, the like Republican primaries, like they're already shaping up to, because you got DeSantis, who is like basically formed his whole identity behind being like the next Trump, but like Trump still wants to run. So now they're running against each other. So now Trump's having to throw this guy under the bus.
So you think the Democrats will?
I don't know. It's hard to tell when there's infighting and the party's not very unified. I think that's the one thing that that Democrats are good at, is they are really good at getting party unity, and the Republicans is like basically kind of split into two parties at this point. And like one party is like sort of the old guard of like, I don't know, like they just kind of do the same thing that Republicans have always done. And then there's like the new group, which is like new. Donald Trump's like, what, 76?
Oh my gosh.
Or he's like old, but they're like sort of the fiery like anti-establishment people who there's always been, like they used to be like the Tea Party. So there's always been this like
it's just the Tea Party with
a
different
different
outfit.
name. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like the people over here, they sound like a lot of times they don't sound very intelligent. So like that turns a lot of people off. And then the old guard is like they can sound more intelligent, but they also it feels like they have no they have a shakier like ground of like what are they actually trying to do. Like I don't know. They're like the cloggers. They just clog things up.
Do you think we'll have more riots?
I hope not.
But I mean,
I mean, potentially, yeah. But
do you think it'll be?
I don't think maybe like that. I don't know.
think it'll be like the last election?
I mean, will we have more riots in this country over something? Yes.
I mean, specifically this next election. Do you think it will have as many riots inside it as the last one?
I mean, it depends on what happens.
Okay.
That's my final answer.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, I could see it happening. I think I'd be like a little naive to say that there wouldn't be riots if things went certain ways.
I don't think there will be as many.
I tend to lean that way though. I feel like people would, like, when you got people like Alex Jones saying like, "Hey, we need to calm down," and like that's when you know it's like
Capitol riot. Yeah.
That like people will probably actually do, like, hopefully like figure out different ways to display there. I mean, nobody probably went to that thinking that it would get to that level.
I always thought that we would have less at this one because it's not just. I feel like people kind of put their faith in two areas, Biden or Trump, obviously.
Yeah.
That's an obvious statement. But now, like you said, there are multiple, like the Republican Party is very split.
Well, I'd say the Democratic Party split, but they still unify at the end of the day.
Against Trump.
Yeah, against Trump.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
So when Trump isn't the most major voice, then what happens? I think the more split they are, the less political tension, maybe.
Because if you really listen to like what's like on the left, what people are saying, like there's a lot of people who are very unhappy with Biden, and like in terms of like the things they value, like Biden just signed into effect something. There was like this thing called the Willow Project that was like had something to do with like getting oil from Alaska, that like a lot of like people on the left were upset about because of the environmental consequences, and Biden signed that into law, so people were like upset about it. But like they're still going to unify if Trump is the person that they're running against. You get someone like Andrew Yang, who's like sort of like left leaning, but like probably has some economically conservative values. That could be somebody who's kind of interesting. But then you got the people who are like really like no, like the Democrats are just like sort of like a not as bad evil. We really just need to blow this whole thing up and like go into a full on like socialist. I wouldn't even say revolution, but I don't know what the end goal for like the socialism movement is. Whether it's like they want it to be like a slowly sort of administered in, like I think like people have seen how like the like revolutions have gone for the most part, and like I don't think anybody's calling for a revolution in the U.S. because that would be just too much of a disruption of comfort, to be quite honest. Yeah. But then there's a lot of things that like capitalism brings people that like ideologically they might be against, but like I would be curious to see whether they would be as willing to give them up, like as they say they are right now. You know what I mean? Like because the people who are who would have influence in order to push things to a more socialist level are also living at the benefit of some of the things that capitalism has brought, right? Yeah. That's the thing that I think is kind of interesting, because like ideologically you can say that you're more socialist, but you're like still living, like in your actions you're still living like.
No, the only way that you're living as a socialist is if you're oppressed.
Yes, exactly.
So
but like
that's why you don't.
But like in order to move the needle, I mean, I guess Marx wouldn't agree with this, but like in order to move the needle, you need to bring in the people who are not in the lowest economic class. Yeah. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be that many people actually willing to move down economic classes, right?
Yeah. If you want socialism, then you want oppression. Seriously. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm against authoritarianism too, so I think you can get to authoritarianism both ways. But, yeah. And anytime you try to search for something that's like a complete utopian ideal, I mean, it comes to this whole thing where it's like you believe like the system's the problem. If we just got everybody in the right system, that would fix all of the problems. But I don't think that's ever proven to be the case. Like, show me a system that's been like really great. I mean,
yeah, we think we have it bad here, but it's great here.
Yeah.
It's very great here. Most people in socialist countries wish that they could have their countries like this.
Yeah.
Even though we complain all the time. It is great here. There's terrible things that go on. We see that every day. I mean, our generation sees that, and we're parts of it. Sometimes we're the problem. But, yeah.
Yeah. And I think like the counter argument would be that like the socialist countries don't actually exist. They're just like authoritarian countries that use socialism as a front, which is true. But then that like the whole argument is that like, can you actually achieve socialism without there being like this element of authoritarianism? And then it's like nobody's actually going to shed
all the revolutions have happened.
The authoritarianism will never go away once you introduce it.
All the revolutions have turned into authoritarian governments, totalitarian even.
Yeah, totalitarian. Yeah. So. Which is why it's interesting, like Orwell was a socialist, but like he wrote all these books like that were, well, not all of them, like 2 books that were like anti-totalitarianism, but like, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of how it turned out, but we'll see. There's a lot of things to monitor in terms of like I don't know, like, depending on how things go, there could be a counter reaction. You can never rule that out.
We just need a reset button in this country. Restart as pioneers, so we all have to work together. We get rid of all of our technology.
So we're primitive. We're anarcho-primitive. Not anarcho.
No,
but just
we
like
start from the
primitivists.
Mayflower or whatever history we don't actually know. Whatever.
Well, we could actually do that by going to Mars, which Elon Musk is giving us the option
We'll be
to
dead.
do.
We need to do this now. That's too
Yeah, but
too long.
I mean, but there's nowhere to go. Like,
No. We just get rid of all our technology, burn down all the houses.
I mean, that might happen if somebody ever, what is it, the electron?
EMP?
EMP. Like, if anybody EMPs us.
But
like,
we don't even want the buildings. I'm saying we restart, we reforest the entire country.
so it's like Hunger Games, just like, not really like Hunger Games. I just watched Hunger Games, so I just made a random comparison.
It could be like, I mean, it could end up like Hunger Games with this many people. We get rid of the hospitals, take away all medications. All wheelchairs is gone. Anybody on
I mean, they just
treatments-
truly just make things more complicated, right?
No.
It
makes
the technology.
Oh, yes. We start from scratch. Then we have to like rediscover. It's like when you build a Minecraft world and you like get all these amazing things and then you like get bored and you start infighting, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, should we grow wheat or should we grow something else, potatoes? And then you like start fighting and make these political arguments against each other. But if you just restarted and made a new world, your problems are now, we need a house, we need food, we're hungry, we're about to die, there's a creeper. When you beat the game, it's not as fun. Do you still play games when you beat them?
No.
Exactly. I think
Like,
we
as
beat
soon
the
as
game.
you get
here.
really, really good at a game, you get bored of it and you stop playing.
Yeah, and
So we beat that's what you're saying. Like, we beat the game, now we're just infighting.
yeah, but when you beat the game, I don't mean you get all the achievements. There are still achievements to get, but nobody gets all the
But you
achievements.
beat like the main part of the
Exactly. You beat story mode, adventure mode.
game. So basically you're saying, like, let's just, like, instead of being like, oh, we'll wait for a disaster to happen and then we'll go to the Dark Ages, like, just like say, we're just going to go to the Dark Ages. We're going to jumpstart, like, history. Because that did happen. Like we typically think of everything progressing forward. But, like, when the Roman Empire fell, things went backwards for a while.
That's what I'm saying. We need that to happen again, and it might be coming.
I mean, that might it might be like a thing that happens, like, outside of our control.
Quickest way that happens: nuclear war.
Yeah.
That's where we start from scratch.
I mean, is that even that? I mean, it doesn't seem like, man, I just said a whole lot of nothing. But that does seem like a possibility.
I don't think it'll happen.
But, like, it's the eternal. I mean, that really just changed how war functioned.
True.
Fundamentally.
It's like cheat
which is
codes.
probably good because I would guess maybe less people have died. Well, okay, that's sort of a loaded statement. Since the advent of the nuclear bomb, now it's like you don't have to, like, send giant armies against you because you can just threaten, like, oh, I'm in a nuclear country. I'm
More
in a
Cold
nuclear
Wars,
country.
maybe.
Yeah, so, like, maybe the amount of people that get sent over to, like, fight wars is less. Not that there's not still people that die, but that's an interesting aspect. Like, did something, maybe we'll find out when Oppenheimer comes out, but did something that was so destructive and killed so many people and it's still sort of a controversial, like thing that happened, like, did that actually, like, save people's lives in the long run? I don't know if that morally still gives, I mean,
Kind of like Thanos.
yeah. You know, nobody really, like, talks about Harry Truman, you know? Harry Truman was the one who was like, I'm going to drop this bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a gutsy move, but, like, I went to his, like, house, or his presidential house in Kansas City, and that's the first time that I thought about, like, wow, this guy was like, I'm going to drop a nuclear bomb. Like, I'm taking responsibility for the fact that I'm going to kill, like, 80,000 people. Like that. And, like, the justification for that is that more people would have died during the war. But then, on the other hand, all these people are, like, innocent citizens that are just caught up in the middle of, like, they had no control. They didn't have any control that their country went to war. Like, some of them might have been pro-war, but some of them might have been anti-war. But that doesn't matter. They all died. So, I don't know.
And you visited his house.
I did. It made me think about that ever since. Because, like, obviously, like, you know, in America, as much as, like, we criticize our own nation, there's still, like, a level of, like, we're going to be, like, pro-American to some degree. and just be like, yeah, we should have done that. But like, I guess you do have to pull back the curtain and be like, was that a good decision? I don't know. But ultimately, I would have no control over the decision. It's the decision that happened. So I guess you have to move on. Harry Truman's dead now.
Yeah.
Can't ask him about it.
We could ask his son.
But the thing is, FDR, he was president for like 12 years, and Harry Truman is still the one that made the biggest decision. And nobody talks about it. I don't know why I'm just like thinking about this right now.
Yeah. No, nuclear war sounds scary, but I don't think we should be worried.
No, I mean, they're less scary now. Well, who is it that was saying, like, I think this might have been Tim Dillon still, who was like, they're trying to get us, like, they were like writing like New York Times articles about like what nuclear war would be like, and it was like, it's not as bad as it used to be. Like, they're just like small bombs. Like, you'll be fine. Like, they were trying to like the way that the Ukraine war has been going, that where which is an interesting movement to identify, just because the pro-war side is coming from the left, which traditionally has been the anti-war side. So it's like everything's flipping. I don't understand. Well, I mean, you can understand some like political reasons why that would be the case, but like it's just interesting to see this like sort of shift in like positions there. Like so there's more political motivations than just like one party can be more likely to like one type of war, and another party could be more likely to like another type of war based on their political affiliations. Very interesting. And all of this has a lot to do with national treasure.
Who would you go to war with?
Right now, I've always been more of the like, war is complicated because currently in our country, I believe we have to be at war in order for our economy to be stable. Is that true? Would you agree with that?
I'm not 100% sure, but
I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like there's a lot of evidence that, so like that makes it difficult. But I guess in an ideal world where that wasn't the case, we wouldn't be at war with anyone, because there's no real like direct threat. The only people who are like kind of directly threatening is China, I guess.
Not Russia.
I mean, Russia. See, all of it's like political maneuvering, like.
But not Russia.
I mean, I'm not really sure what Russia's actual like. They're against NATO, and I guess we're part of NATO. So does that mean they're against us?
I mean, I feel like they're pretty straightforwardly against the U.S.
Yeah, I guess so. They're just, it's in different ways. So and typically one party's been strong against one country and another party's been strong against another country, and now they're kind of like morphing to be strong against both.
We got the big three, I think, that are the U.S.'s main enemies.
Yeah.
Would be China, Russia.
And terror. Remember the war on terror?
Yeah, the war on terrorism.
Did we win that war?
I don't know.
Is terror still around?
No, we lost then.
Yeah.
North Korea, though.
Oh, yeah, North Korea. Yeah, you're right. Those are the anti-American countries.
There are more. Like
I think Russia's history is very interesting because of how much it influences like their decision making. Like, I think from the Western view, we just like people can't understand what Russia's doing, but like based on the history of Russia, like Putin is essentially like, I have to do this. It's not like a I want to do this. In his mind, it's I have to do this.
Like Thanos.
So that is a difficult spot for the rest of the world to be in. If they would just go along with what everything the West wanted, but since we've been sort of positioned against each other, and that hasn't really changed since the fall of the USSR, like that's not going to happen. I mean, we probably could theoretically achieve a end goal that was beneficial mutually for Russia and the West, and for China and China might be more difficult. I don't know why I think Russia would be easier to. Maybe I could foresee.
You think Putin's more reasonable?
I don't know. There's more reason. Well, the parties just seem so different. Like China has a lot of like wealth. Russia seems like they have less wealth. Is that an accurate statement?
I have no idea.
All of this is. I'm been talking this whole podcast like I know things. Like a lot of this is just based on perception. So, like
I don't know.
And,
I feel like Putin would still be
brief
obstinate
snippet.
against.
He
the
would be
US.
obstinate, and because he has so much control, it probably would be difficult.
And
But
for
I'm just
him-
saying, like, in a theory, you could come to things, right, and come to agreements that were actually beneficial for all sides.
Could you?
Maybe you couldn't. Maybe it is like
I think absolutely not.
no.
Yeah.
Like one side has to win and one side has
I think
to lose.
ideologically, absolutely.
Well, ideologically, no. But I'm saying that
and nobody's going to compromise.
no. What I'm saying is that if somehow you shifted ideologically them from like a Russian centric view to a like Western centric view, you could come to things like trade agreements and stuff that were actually reasonable. But like
You're saying make
that
Russia
because
democratic?
because they're positioned against each other ideologically, like you're saying, that will never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they became a.
So it's only
quote,
like
unquote,
in
democracy.
fantasy land that I'm like saying I don't even know them being a democracy would be enough, because like it would take a wholesale change in how, and people are prideful, right? Like in order to
If the
become
few-
a democracy, they would have to like give up, like say we were wrong essentially.
If the few are in charge, then there's more pride to be had.
yeah.
If there are more leaders, not just one, not just a few, if there are many in charge, then it's less about pride and more about trade strategies, I'd say.
Yeah. So like it seems like there's a pride aspect. I don't know. But Russia's, the thing about some of the countries like Germany obviously has a jaded history, but they assimilated back into like Western culture, I guess, because like they had more, I mean, they are Western European, like they have more history with being involved in the Western countries, whereas Russia's never really been, they've always been like separated
I always thought, like,
historically.
what if I was just born in North Korea? I just didn't know anything about the world.
I mean, you wouldn't.
That'd be crazy. Like, no, maybe their technologies are great, maybe not. I don't
You
know.
might. I mean, genuinely, I think they would definitely be in a position that you might think North Korea was the entire world.
Do you think people are happy there?
I think that is potential that some people are happy.
Do you think the majority of people are happy?
No,
Okay.
because I think it's hard to be happy.
But what if that's all they know?
You define it as if you're like starving.
Sometimes if you don't know that cookies exist, then you're not jealous for
I
them.
mean, I think that is true. Like maybe people like you've been hungry your whole life, but you don't know that you can't not be that way. Like, would you even know?
Exactly.
I mean, I think some things like biologically, you could kind of like be like, well, I could eat more food.
I mean, like, are they starved? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I don't think we know.
I mean, like, freedom-wise, like they don't.
No, freedom-wise, they might.
But
be
like, do they
perfectly
not
content.
know?
I mean, they're probably celebrating.
Are they
his,
just like
Kim Jong Un's birthday?
But
And,
are they
like,
happy about that?
it? Probably.
Do you think they actually worship him?
Some of them do. I'm
Do
gonna
you think
go out
they
on
do
a
it
limb
out
and
of
say some
fear?
people
Do you think the people do it out of fear, like they know the government's bad and that the rest of the world isn't like that?
I would think that maybe they would have an inkling that there's some things that are bad within the government. Not then I would think that maybe there's some people who know that there's something outside and that things are off. But there's probably people who don't know that.
Do you think there's like infighting, like don't talk about it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Because that's how it is. I mean,
It's
just-
all speculation. Like it could be like most people know that it's all a game and that they just have to live that way out of fear, or it could be that like a majority of people are completely duped and have no idea.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has been pretty like set apart from the rest of the world for a while
Mhm.
now. So it's potential that there's like a generation of people who like really don't know.
And it's scary because that is socialism's meaner older brother. So that's
Yeah.
It gets in that territory. It opens the doors for those.
Yeah.
Oppression comes in those forms. But yeah, I just wondered, like, I know we always say we're lucky, whatever, blessed to be born here. But I wonder, like, I bet you could be happy there.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be happy another place. I think the difference is like if you're born, raised in a certain place and then you're like bloop, lost somewhere
Translocated.
else, you wouldn't be as satisfied because your like whole framework of like how things are supposed to go would be like all off. Even if you went to another country that was like relatively wealthy, you might be like, I don't like this.
Do you think Dubaians come here and are like, oh my goodness, this is disgusting? This
No.
country is so
No,
poor.
because I think that Dubai is like kind of a sham and that there's like a
You
whole
think?
underbelly of it that's like disgusting.
But the good parts of Dubai, though,
Maybe. But they have to know that like
they have drones that control the weather.
the wealth here is like more established than it is in Dubai.
Okay.
Although they do have a lot of wealth because they have a lot of oil. So, I mean, they might.
Do you think
have
the Saudi royal family comes over here and says, "Wow, this place is so
No,
poor"?
they probably don't like get over here because. Although I didn't think about the religious aspect, they come over here and be like although from what I hear about the Saudi royal family in Dubai, it's mostly things that are like morally bankrupt things going on. Like,
Well, yeah, everybody knows. Yeah.
so it's like
Don't say I
it
don't
would
want them to come after us.
it would be hypocritical of them to come to the U.S. and be like, it's a problem here. Although they might say that because like we all know what they're doing over in their land where they have all the power in the world.
What do you think the Saudi royal prince is doing right now? What do you think he does in a day? What
The
time
thing
does
is,
he wake
do you
up?
think he's gotten to the point? Do you think some of them? And there's more than one, right?
I don't know.
There's like multiple people in the royal family. Do you think some of them have got to the point where they've done so much, like that they're like because they're the richest people in the world, like potentially. We don't know because we have no figure, like that. They are like so bored.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
what time
do they
does
just
he
try to
wake
do
up?
crazy and crazier things, or do they like become ideologues at some point because they're like, oh, I gotta achieve higher. Like I'm Maslow's triangle, and I'm trying to be at the top level.
Self-achievement.
Self-achievement.
But
Like, do they get to that point?
Or
Probably some of them.
self-actualization.
I
Do you
bet some
think-
people get to self-actualization or try to. I mean, whatever that means. I mean, it
This is
doesn't
how I
mean
picture the
anything.
Saudi. I've thought about this. This is how I picture the Saudi royal prince's day.
Okay,
Wakes up around 11, because
that would be nice.
that way you get some day, but you don't have to wake up early.
Nobody's telling you you have to wake up and get someplace at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
your warlords are taking care of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Then ride a camel to a feasting hall. Someone else drives the camel though.
Yeah.
You just sit on the back hump.
And you could take a car, but you're choosing to take a camel.
Yeah, you could drive all the BMWs you want, but you choose to ride a camel because it's fancy, and it's like a camel that's been tamed for you,
Yeah.
and it's like,
You have a personal relationship with this camel.
and they like put
His name's Chuck.
it's like real silk on its back, and like they shampoo it every morning, and they like,
That's like a camel that somehow smells really good.
yeah, it smells amazing. It's like it smells like diamonds.
It smells like, which means it smells like nothing.
Yeah, and you ride
Which
it
would
to
be
the
impressive
feast.
for a camel.
And at this feast, there is all the meat that you want. There's lamb,
Yeah.
there is horse, there is dog, there is
Like how you
chicken.
said all the meat you want, and you pick like horse and dog.
I don't know that that they have horse and lamb. Lamb's big.
Yeah, lamb is good though.
Pork, lots of pork.
Pork.
I don't. Do they eat pork?
They're not allowed to eat pork.
Okay,
but
not
like,
pork.
But there are also the Saudi prince, so maybe
okay,
they eat pork.
maybe pork.
Maybe it's like, wink, wink. Get me
Maybe
some
like
bacon.
the label says horse, but there's a little bit of pork.
Yeah, like-
and you just wink at the chef,
Yeah,
and the chef's family is being held hostage, and you're
naturally.
just,
Because and they can't let anybody know that they're doing that. Not that that would really matter.
and one of the best dishes that you have is one of the chef's kids, and that was part of the contract. And that's just how it is. We don't have to think about
We
it.
don't. Yeah.
But and you feast at like noon, right? And
Right.
then you take a helicopter to go golfing.
Right.
But you're not golfing in like a golf course. You're golfing off of the top of a building onto the low people.
So you're just like golfing. It's like top golfing. You're like hitting people.
Yes.
Like, oh, look at that guy.
But I'm not saying like it's a city where people are walking around. I'm talking about you lay down thousands of people that are just laying down flat on their backs. And you're just letting them get hit. And all their families are being held hostage by the warlords. And then after a quick golf run, you go for second feast. Second feast is a little bit fancier. You go to like this nice restaurant, but you own it. It's in your compound.
Do you think at the restaurant it's like they fill it with people who are like it's like you're
All the
going to-
concubines.
It's like so it's like all of the tables are filled with like all of your concubines.
Yeah, and then we'll skip an hour, and you can fill in the blank what happens then. And
An hour.
yeah,
Does he probably doesn't take that long.
no, he takes an hour. He takes an hour. There are many concubines. There are 18,000 concubines and prostitutes. That's just how it is. Then he blesses each one of his children I bless you.
Which you have to
Bless
think
you.
that with that many concubines and prostitutes, he has a lot of children.
Yeah, he only does the first 5, then he gets tired. And he's like, the rest of you shall not be blessed. And he just does like quick ones. I bless you, I bless you, I bless you. And
And
then,
then he just goes, I bless you infinity. And he just points down the line.
then he goes to a press meeting where he gives money to charity. But the charity is something dumb like PETA or something.
Or like somehow the charity like funnels back into his
Yeah.
bank account.
It's like the Saudi Royal Family Foundation. I'm donating the Saudi Royal Family Foundation because we do so much good work.
and like that's really the money that goes to like the warlords to capture the families for the golf game or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think about in the day. What do you think?
That seems reasonable. And I'd have to say he probably would have like a feast or two in the evening and at night because he wakes up at 11, so he might not go to bed till like 1.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's just maybe they eat dinner at 1. I don't
True.
know. But does he have a woman that he actually loves or no? That's the tough part.
I don't know. I feel like the way that the men and women interact over there is so different. I don't even know like what that.
That's why I
would
thought
even
no.
mean.
That's why I said concubines.
Because it's like I feel like I just don't know. Culturally, I'm not sure what that looks like. I'm not sure that they have the Western romantic kind of view of relationship.
Now, I hope I don't get assassinated because of that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
some insider information. Well, not insider information.
Who would you like to be assassinated by?
Oh, somebody cool. I wouldn't be assassinated by somebody who's like mentally insane.
You
That's
would
just,
or
like,
wouldn't?
Would not.
Why?
Because that would just be someone who is like they didn't like have a purpose in doing it. They were just like
Like the Joker? What if you
yeah.
were
I guess
assassinated
the
by
thing is that's
Joker?
not really fair to say because the Joker had like people have reasons. It's just like their reasons are like not like all set in reality if they're mentally
How do you want to
insane.
die?
How do I want to die?
Yeah.
I don't know. Quickly.
That-
That's the
Are you
easy answer.
afraid of suffering?
No, I don't know. It'll be. I mean, you have to do whatever.
Just
happen-
think, what's the
I mean,
first thing? you
Whatever
think of?
happens,
How do you want to die?
I don't want to drown. I can think of how I don't want to die. I don't want to drown. Don't want to burn alive. Drowning would be awful.
Okay.
Drowning because you have to sit there for so long.
Sit?
Or be falling down or however you're drowning because you like, can't breathe and you can't do anything and your body's like naturally fighting against it. It just sounds
So
terrible.
you would just drowning sounds boring to you
No, drowning
because
sounds-
you'd have to sit so long.
I guess that's kind of what it sounded like. But I think I wouldn't be sitting. I would be fighting. And it's not even like I would want to fight. It's just that's what your body does. Like it's responding that way. And that would be so difficult.
Would you get bored of burning?
Burning might not be as bad, but I might get bored of that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the thing that's good about burning is there might be a point where like you don't feel as much pain because like
Because
all
you're
of-
dead.
Well, would
Your
your pain
nerves are-
would your
your nerves
nerves
are-
kind of get shot? I mean, you might die before that happens. I don't know.
This is how I want to die.
Okay. Zach actually knows. I had no plan for how to answer that question.
Well, I asked the question, so I knew. I want to be skinned, first of all. This is step 1. Skinned with a razor blade, like a Gillette razor blade.
That's like this is like the step-by-step worst way to die.
a rusty Gillette,
Rusty.
and then I want them to pour salt on me
So now you're burning. All your wounds are
and then
on
push
fire.
me into a bathtub full of acid,
So now
battery acid,
Now you're slowly being like burned up by the acid.
and an oxidation reduction reaction will occur, and my bones will be just floating, or they'll sink. But that's how I want to die. It'll be slow.
That sounds like you're not emphasizing the quickness of this death.
No, because
So like why?
that one makes the news,
Well, yeah. Okay. So it's an attention thing.
and it will go down as one of the worst deaths ever.
Yeah. Well, why do you think? Well,
And it'll be on
at what
TikTok.
point are you going to be? So first of all, who do you envision this group of people that's doing this to you being?
Saudis?
The Saudis. With all
After
respect.
this.
And then
No,
secondly,
probably Al-Qaeda.
Secondly, how are you going to get notoriety in order? Is it just like it's a U.S. citizen? This happened to him, or is it like Zach Leewald, the famous?
No, I'll have Guinness
such and
there.
so? Again, so you're trying to get a record for most painful
Yes.
death.
Most painful death.
Are the Saudis going to call and be like, hey, we're about to do the most painful death?
No, I just have the Guinness. I say, you have to come, but you have to dress like Saudi. So then they think.
And then they take off their robes. They're like, oh, we're Guinness World Records.
No, I would probably say, no, I'd probably put a camera in there and then say, hey, go write a letter before I die.
Right.
Or have my lawyer.
They
go do it.
could, if they were going to do that to you, they could at least give you that. Right. You'd think.
No, they wouldn't.
That's the thing, they wouldn't.
Well, then we could give them the award for administering the most excruciating death.
Yeah. Then they would get credit.
Yeah.
They'd probably like that.
So maybe. But that's how I pictured it, just for the headlines, probably. And because, like, if you think about it, like, you're in excruciating pain, then you're just not.
True. At some point, you get relief.
So I'm just thinking about that. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not going to drown or burn. Those are typical.
Well, I said those I didn't want to do.
I know.
So I don't know what I want exactly.
You want to die in your sleep?
I mean, that's what everyone wants.
Exactly.
That's so
it's
cliche.
boring. No headlines. Guy dies in his sleep.
Yeah.
Nothing. I would prefer or that or to be like tortured by someone I love. Just like that would make the headlines. Like my mom. Just like my mom just kills me.
That would make
No, that sounds morbidly crazy, but like that's another headline worthy.
Yeah. It just sounds like it just sounds like you want attention. What it sounds
when
like.
I die, yeah.
But it's like the reverse of the people who assassinate people. It's just like you want to get attention to your death. You don't want to be the one who's like doing the thing.
No, if you want
then
attention,
you have the moral high ground then.
Yeah. Or if you want to, but I can't enjoy the attention, so it's not that selfish. But if you want attention, what's your last words? That's attention.
Oh, last words. Oh,
fly, you fools.
it would be like, I can't even. I want to think of something that's like so clever. It's like so.
You can't think of it on
smart.
the spot.
No, you have to like plan it to be like, this is the way I have to die. Or something so like insanely stupid. Like, come here.
Just
come
go.
Here, come here.
And then just die.
I can even do the noise. It's just something like a fart noise.
Yeah, you gotta use your tongue. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, come here, grandson. I have something to tell you.
You're thinking of your deathbed.
Right here.
I would have so many mixed emotions if my grandpa did that to me. I would be so confused. Like, Grandpa?
I have something important to tell you. Or it would be kind of funny to like have them come there and like you could actually like say words, but you're just like purposely like saying nonsense. So they think that like you're trying to say something, but you can't say it. But you actually
like
are
riddle.
just like you're actually just not saying anything. It's like, oh, come here.
Oh, like gibberish.
So you're saying gibberish. So they're gonna think, oh, he's dying.
Then you say
he's trying to say something important,
like this,
but like you actually know I'm just saying gibberish.
Money. It's under the oak tree.
Yeah, you can be like, I have a lot of this Bitcoin hard drive. It's in the
or
you pass it.
I have another family. I was a Nazi. He just says something random.
That would be kind of the worst if you like waited to
I have
like
killed 10
confess like all of the bad things that you've done to your family like till your deathbed.
I told you what my great grandma on her deathbed said.
I don't think you.
We thought our whole lives that she was like Cherokee Indian, but she's from India, and she purposefully told us Cherokee.
So she's Indian.
Yeah, and then she on her deathbed was like, "I'm actually from India." We're like, "Why would you?" Because she put all this Cherokee Indian stuff in her house. No, it was weird.
Bizarre.
It was weird. And she's very dark. She's like almost African American dark.
This was your great grandma?
Yeah.
So like you got none of that.
I wasn't there. She died.
No,
before.
I'm saying like genetically.
I got India in me.
Well, yes, you do, but like you didn't get any of it visibly. Like
Oh no.
you're like ginger and like you have blue eyes
Yeah. No.
and you
Indians.
have pale skin.
Yeah. Indians.
But you
Indian.
do have Indian blood. That's
Yeah.
interesting, but not Cherokee Indian.
I guess
like
not.
India. Like,
But we thought
country.
because she was like make her go in tanning beds and make herself like red. Like
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a lot going on there.
yeah, it was like a Michael Jackson type of thing.
That's interesting. That the paths people can take in their lives.
Yeah, I just wonder like, I don't know, like if I wanted to be Asian, like what do I do? Could I get plastic surgery?
I mean, there would probably be somebody who would do that for the right price.
That's the doctor that I should be? A racial reconstruction surgeon?
If you want to be the most controversial doctor, then yes.
Either that or the doctor on My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah.
That's my favorite doctor.
Is he the one who goes and tells them like, you gotta lose weight?
You are too fat.
Oh yeah. no,
I said you need to eat less junk food, but you only eat junk food. He gets so much BS. Everybody just lies to him. He's like, you are lying.
You go all through medical school, and then your job is to just tell
The
people like,
TLC doctor.
you got to be healthier. You got to make better decisions. Like there's nothing you can actually do. Like you can't give them a drug.
Yeah, you're not
It's
helping their
all
lives.
just like I can tell you medically that if you eat junk food, it will be bad for your health. That's all I can do for you.
I ran some tests. You are fat. I ran some tests.
All right, here's the bill.
I ran some tests. You're morbidly obese. Your BMI is off the charts. I would love to be that kind of doctor. That'd be so easy. Your bill is $900. You need to eat
I
less
ran some
brownies.
plan of care.
Drink water.
Eat less brownies. Drink water.
Eat vegetables. Stop eating your
I
grandfather's
wasn't
ashes.
it? I keep feeling I keep referencing Tim Dillon stuff because he was the one who was talking about the one that like lost a bunch of weight because she had like surgery.
Oh, maybe. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
So now she can't be on My 600-Pound Life. It's
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
sad.
They were mad at her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she got like death threats because she lost weight.
Yeah.
Because this fat activism stuff is going way
Yeah.
too far.
Yeah.
Lizzo. Here's the thing about Lizzo. She's like, her music is subpar, okay? It's not even a birdie or an eagle. It's just par. And I don't think that she is necessarily everyone's dream girl. Let's just say that. So I don't like it when she's putting herself above everyone else in any situation and acting like she's the victim in every situation. I'm sure she gets a lot of hate mail from mean people. But then there's also a solution to just not read emails or like.
True. I mean, it's especially hard when it's famous people because they like make the active decision to like stay being famous. Any famous person could decide, I don't like this. I'm not going to be famous anymore.
Yeah.
You literally could because people would forget about you. That's the thing. You
Yeah.
can have a huge ego and think that, oh, people will always remember me.
Did not work
They
for
will
Jeffrey
not.
Epstein.
If you
Or
know, it
Harvey
didn't
Weinstein.
work for either of those people. But like, if you just stop working and like don't do anything, people will forget about you, 100%. And they might be like, "Oh, remember that one person?" Like every once in a while. But like most of the time, they will just forget about you because it only matters what you're doing right now until you have like enough of a record of things that are successful that like people look back
Do you
and like,
remember
you're an all-time great.
Do you
Which
remember
Lizzo, that will never be the case.
Lil Huddy?
Yes,
What
or
happened-
Lil Pump.
What happened to him?
Lil Pump.
What
Remember Lil
happened,
Pump?
what happened to them?
They are still making music, but nobody listens to it.
Okay. I didn't know if like they just don't.
I think I saw Lil Pump made an album that was like a rock album, but it's not like exactly like his music. He's just like screaming, and there's like guitars as the beat, so it's like not really that good either.
Hmm.
But like Lil Huddy was like, I mean, that was a phase where people were like all into like
Was that TikTok?
rappers who are. It might have been early days of TikTok. Rappers are like, it's hard to tell whether they're even conscious. Like, they just look like this. They have like tattoos on their face. I mean, that was what Lil Huddy looked like.
Yeah. What was?
Remember Lil Xan?
Yeah. Do you? I like.
Lil Huddy.
Lil Huddy's the guy from TikTok.
He's the guy from TikTok. I was thinking of Lil Xan, but like same. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Lil Huddy, he didn't have as much staying power.
Who was the guy that got the jewel on his forehead?
Oh shoot. I don't know.
Wasn't it Kid something? Was that Uzi Vert?
Lil Uzi Vert?
Yeah, wasn't it?
He has a diamond on his.
Look it up. I think it was him. I think he implanted, like, the Vision, a diamond or some kind of jewel.
Maybe.
It's a diamond, yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, he's like the
How
Vision.
long has he had this?
Oh, years.
I didn't-
But he got it removed, like, this last year or the year before. Surgically embedded into his forehead.
The diamond cost $24 million. That is insane. $24 million diamond
And
on his forehead?
It's like the Vision.
There's no way that was a good financial decision.
That's the Mind Stone.
He said he got it in 2017, and he had
He's
been paying
afraid
for it ever since, and he had planted it in his forehead because he was afraid he would lose it.
Hey, artists are very creative. They make decisions, and their thinking is above ours. So sometimes it's good to just support. Yeah, his diamond was ripped out during one of his fan meetups or concerts. Or
$24 million diamond.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I know. It's one of the largest. Yeah, they yanked it from his head. I remember. I didn't know you didn't know. I thought you liked Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Vert claims that his
I mean, I like
insurance-
some of Lil Uzi Vert's music, but it's like, I don't know.
I think it's cool.
I mean, it's cool.
He's like a superhero.
I just can't believe like I knew who this person was, and I had no idea that like he had a diamond in his forehead.
Yeah,
like-
one of the best diamonds in the world.
Yeah.
He was the most valuable person ever.
I mean, yeah, he literally made money like part of him.
Yeah.
I mean, what an expression. I mean, a lot of like rap, at least of the style he sang or he like came up in. I don't know that he still like sings about it as much anymore. But it's just about like he's just having a lot of money. Like that's the whole thing. Like being successful, having a lot of money. It's like self-referential. It's like you're just rapping about like, oh, I have a lot of money, and I have. Like, I'm successful. I mean, people start rapping about that before they're actually successful. It's like you're, like,
True.
speaking it into existence. Because you got to believe that you can have a lot of money.
Kanye's a billionaire, right?
Yeah. But Kanye was rapping about, like, dropping out of college and, like,
Okay.
until he got famous, and then he started rapping about
What
different
rappers
stuff.
are billionaires?
Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Kanye. I
That's
think
it?
it's that. Maybe
Kendrick
maybe
Lamar?
Drake. No, because Kanye and Jay-Z, Kanye got into fashion. Jay-Z got into record labels.
You're right, easy.
So I don't think Kanye might have a record label, but he is not as much. Doesn't seem as much of a business person. He sees himself more as like a poet, I believe, like an artist, a true artist. I think that's why he's sort of elevated. Like Kanye is sort of the rare, and again he's sort of gone downhill. It's sad, but it's true. He has. You can't defend him. But he sort of like had the transcendent. He was at the transcendent level, which may have been ultimately what was his downfall. Was that like he transcended too high?
He touched the sun.
No, and he realized like, or I don't know what he realized. He might not have realized anything, but
Did he
nobody
reach
can actually transcend.
self-actualization?
I don't think so. I think he was transcendent, but not self-actualized.
I think he was transcendent, as in like he just didn't. He thought he was like in nirvana.
When
but
I
he
say
really wasn't.
transcendent, I don't know that it's like I actually believe that he was transcendent. It's that like that's how people were elevating him. People around him, everybody was elevating to that status.
He
So
elevated
then he
himself.
believed that. No, he believed it too. Actually, he might have been the person who believed it the most
Yeah.
out of anyone. So like, well, like that's what artists, the dream is that you transcend. I mean, that's what Beethoven, like, it's like they were trying to reach this level of like transcendence. That's like, it's not really, you can't really describe it because you just know it when you hear it, kind of thing.
That's
And
like
then
the
it's all
Supreme
based
Court's
on, like,
definition of
this-
pornography.
Really?
You know it when you see it.
Is that what they actually said?
I think so. That's
Interesting.
what people say. Might be false.
Interesting. But that's not what I'm referencing.
How many rappers died in the last month? Let's just look it up.
I mean, they often do. Okay, so
Dr. Dre. Okay.
Dr. Dre has, well, supposedly Kanye only has 500 million right now.
Yeah, right. He is way more.
But he lost a lot of money, I think, with some of the Adidas stuff. Because a lot of it's based on net worth. Diddy has $1 billion. Who is Diddy? I shouldn't.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Again, he has to be in like record labels or something. Some of these people are like before my time, you know. Sean Love Combs. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or Diddy? Yeah, he's a record executive. That's where all the money is.
David Jolisier, a.k.a. Gangsta Boo. Oh, those are the only 3 rappers that died this year.
Well, that were notable. I'm sure there's some who are like, I mean, what makes you a rapper? Like, I don't think just if you're the best musicians who don't exist in real life. What is that?
Let's see.
Oh, well, that's sort of, yeah. They exist.
They're going to say Dead Ma.
They exist in real life. They're just Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Daisy Jones and the Six. Death Clock.
Spinal Tap. Okay, yeah, that's the movie.
Powerline.
These are like the most obscure. Josie and the Pussycats. The Chipmunks. The Archie. Okay, this is going downhill fast.
Hatsune Miku. Do you know her?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
You know 100 Gex made a new album? Does that even mean anything to you?
It does not.
They're like hyper pop.
You've told me about them.
I'll have to play you some after.
Can't wait.
They're like one of those bands that like I like to like because other people think they're annoying. So that makes it fun to like them. Of course, that's why you should like things.
Let's see. Actors that died in 2023. Bobby Caldwell. Joey Pepitone. Bud Grant. Robert Blake. Gary Rossington. Tom Sizemore. Terry Holland. Richard Belzer. Do you know any of those? What famous person died? David Crosby.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Yeah, Raquel Welch. Yeah, I heard some of these.
Did Betty White die this year or last year? Let me look that up. You know, Ben, I used to tell people that when Betty White dies, I die. I used to like say that. Yeah, she died a year ago. So it was December 31st, 2021. Yeah, she was in The Golden Girls, The Proposal, Hot in Cleveland, Mary Tyler Moore Show. Oh, she was amazing. I miss her. What's Fire Painter?
Oh, the Purdue fans are mad because their coach Matt Painter is lost.
Fire Painter.
Yeah, they want to fire. They want to fire him. His name is Matt Painter.
Okay.
They probably won't, but that's what they want.
Yeah, as Purdue has lost in the first round as a number 1 the seed.
To a 16 seed for only the second time in history.
I actually had that happening.
Wait, seriously?
In my bracket, yep.
Really?
Yeah, I had like 3 number 1 seeds losing.
Well, so you got one of them.
Yeah, but I'm not.
The other ones didn't happen.
I'm not gonna get the rest. Yeah.
I guess if you pick enough, it might.
I had
happen.
Purdue losing just because you like Purdue.
It's probably smart. They're traditionally not that good in the tournament. Sadly.
I mean, it's not for me. It wasn't smart. It was just random.
Yeah.
And I have. Do you want to know who I have winning?
Who? Ohio State. No,
No.
they're not in the tournament.
UCLA.
UCLA.
Yeah.
They might win.
Yeah,
I mean, they're still in.
they're like a number 4.
No, there are 2.
Oh, there are 2.
Yeah, so they
Okay,
might
see,
win.
I don't even know. Who do you have winning? Purdue.
Purdue.
Well, like that's.
That was
biased.
a terrible pick.
Do you have like a real?
No,
You
that
don't
was,
do a
it was
real one?
biased because they were a 1 seed, so I was like, they legitimately could have a chance at
Yeah,
winning.
but you don't.
But if they can't even beat a 16 seed, like obviously they weren't going to win. It was biased, but I only pick one bracket because it's like no fun to do more than one. It's probably the last time I'll do that.
I was gonna try to pick a 16 seed to win, so then I could win $1 million if I won.
That would be fun. Anyway, any more thoughts about National Treasure from our discussion?
Let's see what some of the critics have to say. Directed by John Turteltaub.
What do you think of Nick Cage's performance?
Yeah.
He was Nick Cage.
No, yeah. I don't know. It really is tough. People say, is he good? Is he bad?
Have you ever watched Adaptation? He's good.
He's good in that.
But that's also because I feel like it's to some degree like
ironic.
You have to know how to use him. It's not like he can just show up and do anything. You have to be able to use him for what his strengths are, which might be true of any actor, but some actors might just have a little bit more range than he has.
Stella Papa Michael said, "This movie couldn't be more stale if it had been dug up by archaeologists." That's all right. No, it's okay.
Yikes.
I think we've said enough on it because I think it really. Imagine an adventure, National Treasure, like a conspiracy. There's a bad guy trying to get the money. That's the movie. So.
Yeah. There's not much to say as a critic. And really, you can, every conversation we had on this episode had a tie-in to National Treasure that we specifically thought about beforehand. And so why don't you go back and try to listen through and make those tie-ins for yourself and be like, oh, wow, they're really smart. But they didn't directly address it. They went for a more ambiguous route. And then you can be like, wow, they're amazing podcasters. So that's just what I would challenge you as a listener to do. We did have a lot of rhetoric today. I'm definitely using that word wrong.
Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Oh, are we going to watch that movie?
We should. I haven't seen the other ones.
When I went to Destin last week, there was a movie theater, and the two movies that were playing in the theater that were listed were Magic Mike and Sausage Party.
Oh my God. 16-year-old boy is running that theater.
Yeah, well, it was the week that a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old college students who were going to be drinking a lot. Not us. I didn't do any drinking, just so the viewer knows, but a lot of other college students down there.
That is so great.
Yeah, that makes me better than you, by the way, which is what I want.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we'll be back to somewhat, we say regular, but somewhat at least more consistent schedule.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
As we always do.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you have any thoughts, email us at themovievaultpod@gmail.com, DM us at themovievaultpod, or on Twitter at movievaultpod, I think. If you want to be on the show, you can email us. We could arrange it depending on who you are. There's an application. Maybe. I don't know. But we are planning to have some cool guests on in the future. So look forward to that. And have a nice rest of your day.
Mm-hmm. See ya.
I'm closing the vault.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.